Paris, the 31st of August 1997. It is just after midnight. A black Mercedes drives very fast through the streets of the city. Inside the car sits a woman. She is 36 years old. She is one of the most famous women on the planet. Millions of people love her. Behind the car, motorcycles, men with cameras. They are chasing her. They want one more photo. Just one more. The car enters a tunnel, and what happens in the next 30 seconds will shock the entire world. Her name was Diana, Princess Diana. Kings wanted to meet her. Presidents wanted to meet her. Movie stars waited in line to talk to her. So why was she running through the dark, chased by strangers? How did the most loved woman in the world end up so alone? Tonight, my friends, I will tell you her real story, and at the end, we will return to this tunnel in Paris. If you enjoy learning English through true stories, please subscribe. It helps us more than you know. Now, get comfortable. Let's begin. Diana Spencer was born on the 1st of July, 1961, in Norfolk, England. Her family was rich, very rich. They were aristocrats. Aristocrats are families with old money and important names. The Spencer family had served English kings and queens for hundreds of years. Diana grew up in a big house called Park House. And here is something interesting. This house was on the Queen's own land. The royal family were her neighbors. As a little girl, Diana sometimes played with the Queen's younger sons. From the outside, her life looked perfect. Big house, beautiful gardens, servants. But inside that house, things were breaking. Diana's parents did not love each other anymore. They fought, they shouted, and when Diana was 6 years old, her mother left the family home. Diana remembered the sound for the rest of her life. The sound of her mother's shoes walking away on the stones outside. Her father won custody of the children. Custody means the legal right to keep your children with you. So Diana grew up without her mother close to her. She became a quiet girl, shy. She did not talk much, but she was very kind. She loved animals. She loved small children. At school, she was not a good student. She failed her exams twice. Her teachers did not expect anything special from her. Diana had one dream. She wanted to be a ballet dancer. She practiced for hours, but she grew too tall. At 5 feet 10 inches, she was too tall for professional ballet. The dream died quietly. At 18, Diana moved to London. She shared a small apartment with 3 friends, and this rich aristocrat girl worked as a cleaner. She cleaned houses for money. She also worked in a kindergarten, taking care of small children. The children loved her. She was happy there. She had no idea that her simple life was about to end forever. In the summer of 1980, Diana went to a party in the countryside. At this party, there was a special guest, Prince Charles, the future King of England. Charles was 31 years old. Diana was 19. Here is a strange detail. Charles had dated Diana's older sister before, but that summer, he noticed Diana. She was sweet. She was funny. She listened to him. Charles was under pressure. The whole country was asking the same question. When will the prince find a wife? He needed a bride, a young bride, from a good family, with no past. Diana was perfect for the job. They started to see each other. But listen to this. Before Charles asked her to marry him, they had met only about 13 times. 13. Most couples know each other for years. Diana and Charles barely knew each other at all. In February 1981, Charles asked Diana to marry him. She said yes immediately. She was 19 years old, and she believed she was living a fairy tale. A fairy tale is a magical story, like Cinderella. After the engagement, a journalist asked them a simple question: "Are you in love?" Diana answered fast, "Of course." Charles paused. Then he said, "Whatever in love means." Whatever in love means. Diana never forgot those words. Something cold moved through her heart, but it was too late. The wedding machine had started, and nobody could stop it. There was another problem, a bigger problem. Her name was Camilla. Camilla was an old girlfriend of Charles. Diana discovered that Charles and Camilla still talked, still met. Days before the wedding, Diana found a gift, a bracelet. Charles had bought it for Camilla. Diana cried. She told her sisters she wanted to cancel the wedding. Her sisters said, "Too late, Dutch. Your face is already on the souvenirs." The 29th of July, 1981, St. Paul's Cathedral, London. 750 million people around the world turned on their televisions. 750 million. It was the most watched wedding in human history. Diana arrived in a glass carriage, like a princess from a storybook. Her white dress had a train too, 5 feet long. A train is the long part of a dress that follows behind the bride. Crowds filled the streets of London. People cried with joy. The bells rang across the city. She was 20 years old. The world saw a perfect fairy tale. What the world did not see was Diana the night before, crying alone in her room. After the wedding, real life began, and real life inside the palace was cold. There were rules for everything: how to walk, how to sit, what to say, what never to say. The palace staff watched her every move. Her husband was distant. He preferred his books, his gardens, his old friends. His old friends, including Camilla. Diana was surrounded by hundreds of people, servants, guards, secretaries, and she felt completely alone. But then, 2 lights entered her life. In 1982, her first son was born, Prince William. 2 years later, her second son arrived, Prince Harry. Diana loved her boys with all her heart, and she decided to raise them her own way. She broke the royal rules. She took baby William with her on official trips. No royal mother had done that before. She took her sons to McDonald's, to amusement parks. She wanted them to stand in line like normal children. She wanted them to see real life. She also took them somewhere else, to homeless shelters, to hospitals. She told William, "Look, this is the real world. These people matter." The palace did not approve. Diana did not care. To the cameras, Diana smiled. Always. But behind the palace doors, she was fighting a secret war. Diana was sick. She had bulimia. Bulimia is an eating disease. A person eats a lot of food, then forces the food out of their body. It comes from deep sadness and stress. Diana was sick for years, and almost nobody helped her. The marriage grew colder. Charles spent more and more time with Camilla. Diana knew. She once said there were 3 people in her marriage. 3, my friends. And a marriage only has space for 2. But something strange was happening outside the palace walls. Something nobody expected. The people were falling in love with Diana. When Diana and Charles visited a city, the crowds shouted her name. Only her name. People waited for hours in the rain just to see her for 1 second. If Charles walked to one side of the street and Diana to the other, the people on Charles's side made sad sounds. They wanted Diana. Why? Because she was different. Royal protocol, the official rules of royal behavior said, do not touch the people. Diana touched everyone. She shook hands without gloves. She hugged strangers. She sat on hospital beds, which was forbidden. She got down on her knees to talk to children, eye to eye. No royal had ever done these things. She had a gift. When Diana talked to you, you felt like the only person in the world. The newspapers called her the People's Princess. Her husband walked behind her now, forgotten by the cameras. And Charles was jealous. The future king was invisible next to his own wife. April 1987, a hospital in London. Doctors opened the first hospital unit in the United Kingdom for patients with AIDS. At that time, people were terrified of this disease. Many believed you could catch AIDS just by touching a sick person. AIDS patients died alone. Their own families refused to visit them. Nurses sometimes left food at the door, afraid to enter the room. Diana walked into that hospital. The cameras followed her, as always. She walked to a patient, a young man, very sick. She looked at him, she smiled, and then, in front of all the cameras, she took off her gloves and shook his hand, skin to skin. That photo traveled around the entire world in one day, and it changed everything. A princess touched an AIDS patient, and nothing happened to her. Millions of people saw it. Fear started to break. Sick people were touched again, hugged again, treated like humans again. One handshake. That was her power. Diana kept going. She visited patients with leprosy, a skin disease that people feared for thousands of years, and touched them too. She sat with dying children in hospitals across the world. Then, in January 1997, she did something even more dangerous. She flew to Angola, a country in Africa. Angola had a terrible problem: landmines. A landmine is a bomb hidden under the ground. It waits. When a person steps on it, it explodes. Thousands of children in Angola had lost their legs. Diana put on a protective vest and a helmet, and she walked, slowly, through a real minefield. The photographers could not believe what they were seeing. A princess, alone, walking through a field of hidden bombs. That image shocked the world. Politicians who had ignored the problem for years suddenly had to talk about it. Months later, an international treaty was signed to ban landmines. A treaty is an official agreement between countries. Many people say Diana's walk made it possible. By 1992, the fairy tale was officially dead. The palace announced it. Charles and Diana were separating. The war between them moved to the newspapers. His friends attacked her. Her friends attacked him. And in 1995, Diana did something no royal had ever done. She gave a television interview, alone, without the palace's permission. 23 million people in Britain watched it. Diana looked straight into the camera and told the truth. She talked about Camilla. She talked about her sickness. She talked about her loneliness inside the palace. And when the journalist asked if she would ever be queen, Diana said something beautiful. She said she wanted to be a queen in people's hearts. The palace was furious. The queen had had enough. She ordered the divorce. Let me tell you about one famous night during this war. In 1994, Charles admitted on television that he had been unfaithful. Unfaithful means he had loved another woman during the marriage. The whole country watched. Everyone waited to see Diana destroyed. That same evening, Diana had to attend a public event. She arrived in a short black dress. Elegant, powerful, off the shoulders. It broke every royal fashion rule. She stepped out of the car, smiled, and walked past the cameras like the queen of the world. The next morning, her photo was on every front page. His confession was not. The newspapers gave that dress a name, the revenge dress. In 1996, it was final. Diana lost her title of Her Royal Highness. In the eyes of the palace, she was no longer truly royal. But she kept what mattered: her sons, her home in Kensington Palace, and her freedom. For the first time since she was 19, Diana was free. But her freedom had a price. She was now the most photographed woman on earth, without the protection of the crown. One photo of Diana could sell for hundreds of thousands of dollars. So the paparazzi never stopped. Paparazzi are photographers who chase famous people. They followed her to the gym, to restaurants, on vacation. They hid in bushes. They chased her car through the streets. She could not escape them. Ever. In the summer of 1997, Diana started a romance with a man named Dodi Fayed. His family was one of the richest in Egypt. They spent the summer on yachts in the Mediterranean Sea. The paparazzi photographed everything, every kiss, every moment. At the end of August, Diana and Dodi arrived in Paris. And now, my friends, we return to where our story began. The 30th of August, 1997, Paris. Diana and Dodi have dinner at the Ritz Hotel. Outside the hotel, dozens of photographers wait, like hunters. Just after midnight, Diana and Dodi try to escape. They leave through the back door of the hotel. They get into a black Mercedes. The driver speeds into the night. The motorcycles follow. The car goes faster, 60 miles per hour, 70, 80. The driver had been drinking that night. The investigation proved it later. The car flies down the road along the River Seine and enters the Pont de l'Alma tunnel. 12:23 in the morning. Inside the tunnel, the driver loses control. The car hits a pillar, a thick column of concrete at full speed. The sound of the crash echoes through the tunnel. Then, silence. Dodi and the driver die instantly. Diana is badly hurt. Some photographers arrive at the crashed car and take pictures. Doctors fought for her life for hours. But at 4 o'clock in the morning, on the 31st of August, 1997, Princess Diana died. She was 36 years old. Britain woke up to the news and broke. People left flowers at the gates of Kensington Palace. Then more flowers. Then an ocean of flowers, a mile of them, and candles, and letters, and photographs. Grown men cried in the streets. The country had never seen anything like it. Her funeral was watched by 2.5 billion people. Behind her coffin walked her 2 sons. William was 15. Harry was 12. They walked with their heads down, in front of the whole world, saying goodbye to their mother. Today, her sons continue her work, the fight against landmines, the care for the sick and the forgotten. Diana was a shy girl who failed her exams, and she changed how a 1,000-year-old monarchy treats its people. The palace gave her a title. The people gave her a better one, the people's princess. Thank you for listening to this story, my friends. If it touched your heart, please give it a like and subscribe for more stories in easy English. And tell me in the comments, where are you watching from? I read every message. Keep learning, keep listening, and I will see you in the next story.